want to pause for a moment today and tell you how appreciative I am for you. The fact that so many of you watch these video messages makes it worth it every week. When I was studying to be a pastor, the last thing I would have said I was excited about would have been preaching and teaching. Then, somewhere along the way, I discovered that all this is sharing my discoveries, telling you what God's revealing to me. So thanks. Thanks for being on this journey with our Savior. Over the last weeks, we've been observing how the disciples were with Jesus and what they experienced in following our Savior. And I've got to tell you, I'm enjoying it. And I hope you are too. Let's jump right in with the disciples as Matthew has recorded it for us in the Bible. In chapter 17. When they came to the crowd, a man approached Jesus and knelt before him. "Lord, have mercy on my son," he said. "He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him." "You unbelieving and perverse generation," Jesus replied, "how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me." Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, "Why couldn't we drive it out?" He replied, "Because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." How disappointing for the disciples. They'd been watching the way that Jesus was healing the sick, restoring sight to the blind, casting out demons. And now Jesus had empowered them to do the same. They were filled with so much joy, and amazing things were happening until, it seems, they failed. And this man was calling them out for their failure, sort of. He was still concerned about his son who was having seizures. He wasn't tattling. Maybe he was all the more confirmed that this was a big deal that needed God's intervention. "I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't heal him." If that wasn't bad enough to be called out in front of their rabbi, their teacher, their mentor, then it seemed that Jesus was also coming down on them. "How many times do I have to go over these things? You stubborn, faithless people. How much longer do I have to put up with this?" Have you ever needed God to step into a difficult situation? Ever felt so desperate that you would do anything to get it fixed? Worry that you can't get off your mind day or night. What kind of trouble pushes you that far? A person who just won't leave you alone? Or a project that's so overwhelming that it has you paralyzed, unable to do anything? A car that won't run no matter what you try? A nagging feeling that you're letting someone down? A baby that won't sleep at night and cries all the time? A temptation that keeps returning? A rejection followed by another rejection, followed by another? A loved one with an addiction or a disorder of some sort? A child that just acts out uncontrollably, and you wonder why they won't stop? All of those situations leave us desperate. And the Gospels talk about this situation that we read about today. Matthew reported Jesus telling about faith moving mountains. And Luke reports that the disciples couldn't do anything. And Mark reports that Jesus announced, "You unbelieving and perverse generation." After Jesus had healed the boy, after the crowd was long gone, the disciples asked Jesus privately, "Why couldn't we drive it out?" This was a big moment, maybe humbling even. They recognized their lack. So they went to Jesus seeking some mercy. They didn't deserve it, but they didn't want to stay where they currently found themselves. Failures, feeling like failures. Jesus replied, "Because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Jesus challenges the disciples, telling them they have so little faith. And I don't know, when I hear that about you have little faith, all it leaves me doing is shrugging my shoulders, wondering, what else can I do? I've been there, thinking I have so little faith, and I'm the pastor who's responsible to help others grow in their faith. Moving mountains? Never been able to do that. Have you? I've got a really important question. How do you unlock God's power? Mark shares the answer to this question that Jesus offered his disciples. He replied, "This kind can only come out by prayer." What Jesus said to the disciples was the secret about how to have more faith. Prayer. What prayer? What prayer made the difference? Was it the prayer of the disciples that helped that demon-possessed boy? No, they didn't pray. Must have been the people, the crowd. Perhaps they had a vigil for the boy. Nope. The people didn't pray. They never bent a knee. Then what prayer led Jesus to deliver the demon? Well, there's only one prayer in the story. It's the honest prayer of a hurting man. Lord, have mercy on my son. That's it. That's the prayer. We often face difficult situations that can be resolved only through prayer. Prayer is the key that unlocks God's power in our lives. Please don't turn this back around to you. Well, I'm not a good prayer. I just ramble on. Others are much more powerful. My prayers are dull. I'm not a consistent prayer. I go weeks or days without consistent prayer. Hot, cold, or maybe you feel I'm not an honest prayer. Why would God in heaven want to talk to me? If God knows all he knows, then he knows about me, who I am, and what I'm not. If you find yourself feeling that way, I want to assure you that the power is not in the prayer. It's in the one who hears it. It's not your eloquence that gets heaven to move. It's not the journal filled with all your answered prayers. It's not an approach to God that sounds like some prophet or priest. The one who got Jesus' attention was a parent with a sick son in need of a miracle. The father's prayer isn't much, but the resulting love and compassion is the power. He prayed out of desperation. His son was demon-possessed. Not only was he a deaf mute and an epileptic, he was also possessed by an evil spirit. Ever since the boy was young, the demon had thrown him into fires and water. Imagine the pain of the father. Other dads could watch their sons grow and mature. He could only watch his suffer. If you can do anything for him, please have pity on us and help us. Hard to listen to that prayer. Does it sound courageous, and confident, and honest, and strong? Hardly. But it was enough for God to act. The prayer of a hurting father. How do you unlock God's power? Prayer. Our prayers may be awkward. Our attempts may be feeble. But since the power of prayer is in the one who hears it and not the one who says it, our prayers do make a difference. That father and those disciples would never forget that God responded. Our biblical blessing today is one of big faith, mountain-moving faith. May these words unlock God's power in your life. This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us.
walking around these walls. I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands, great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands, this is my confidence. You never failed me yet. I know the night won't last, your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Your promise still stands, great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands, this is my confidence. You never failed. Your promise still stands, great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands, this is my confidence. You never failed me yet. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I'll see you do it again. And you've never failed me yet. I never will forget. You've never failed me yet. I never